We continue from the previous episode as we see the ominous stone being shattered. The purple aura within it spreads outward before collapsing. Someone in the crowd shouted, "The treasure inside the ominous stone is coming out." Another man down below opened his mouth wide in awe, wondering, "What is it?" A third pointed upward and yelled, It's a wooden comb inside the ominous rock." We then see the comb, covered in a malevolent aura, with a visible bloodstain on it. Gu Changge noticed and pointed out, "There's blood on it." An old Taoist beside him, stroking his beard, speculated, "The bloodstain on it seems to be the source of its ominous aura." With a whoop, the comb suddenly flew toward the flying mobile palace. A lady pointed upward and said, "It's moving toward the red-clothed demoness." Another cultivator with horns on his head wondered, "This wooden comb, could it have originally belonged to the red-clothed demoness?" He added, "The immortal king who fell at Kunwa back then might have had a deep connection with her. Could it be that he was killed by her?" The old man beside him murmured, "Her strength at her peak must have been unimaginable." Gu Changge also noticed the comb heading toward the flying mobile palace and pondered, "So that's what was in there." The comb flew inside and gently landed on the red-clothed demoness' palm. She held the comb to her chest and said softly, "Long time no see." Her eyes flickered with fleeting emotion as tears of blood fell from them. She then murmured, "Just how can you be this cruel?" She recalled a memory from the past. Her master, Gu Changge, combing her hair gently. She had asked, "Master, is this the gift you want to give me?" Gu Changge had replied, "Does Hongi like it?" Hongi, now smiling brightly in that memory, said, "As long as it's from Master, Hongi will love it." The scene shifts outside the Divine Stone Assembly, where we hear some passers-by discussing. At this Divine Stone Assembly, the cursed rock was cut open by the Lord of Devil Mountain, the red-clothed demoness. Another person added, "I heard it was brought out from Kunwa Mountain. What was inside?" The first guy replied, "It seems to be a comb. But what's most shocking this time is young Lord Chang's bold move." We then see Lady Chuyue and Ji Yaoxing walking together as she asked, "Brother, what do you think Chang has called us together for this time?" Ji Yaoxing, calm and composed, replied honestly, "I don't know either. Let's play it by ear." He then added, "Be careful what you say, especially about your contact with Jiang Cheng. You absolutely mustn't let him find out." Ji Chue nodded and replied, "I understand." She then pondered, the so-called number one in the upper realm. So powerful, so wealthy, yet so vindictive and petty, with not an ounce of grace. We then see Gu Changge reading the immortal scripture with difficulty, and he pondered, "It seems that with my current cultivation level, it's still difficult to comprehend this heavenly scripture." Lady Enmei entered the hall and said, "Young master, I have already recruited several elders who have studied the ancient texts of the hidden celestials, as you instructed. They are currently toiling away through the night to translate that sword technique." Gu Changge raised his head and asked, "How's their progress?" Enmei smiled and said, "They should be able to complete the translation in about 3 days." Gu Changge closed the immortal scripture and said, "Very well." He then came down from the stairs and added, "Contact by Liener. Arrange for some people to get rid of the little war immortal." Enmei looked at Gu Changge and said, "I have already informed by Liener of the situation. She has arranged for a team of 5 assassins, 4 of whom are in the Sacred Lord realm and 1 in the Sacred King realm, to execute the task today." She continued, "The guardian accompanying the young war immortal is only in the Sacred Emperor realm, but I've taken measures to hold him back. The young war immortal will definitely fall within 15 minutes. Gu Changge then stepped closer and gently stroked her hair, saying, "Thank you for all your hard work during this time." Enmei, blushing slightly, replied, "It's all within Enmei's duties." She added softly, "No hardship at all, young master." Just then, Chinga entered the hall and said, "Greetings, young Master Chang. Ji Yaoxing, Ji Chue, you've arrived." Enmei frowned slightly in annoyance at the interruption, but remained silent. Chinga, seeing the intimate moment between them, was silently saddened, though she too said nothing. Ji Yaoxing and Ji Chue both bowed slightly and greeted, "Young Master Chang." Gu Changge said casually, "Such formality is not necessary. Brother Yaoxing, Lady Chue, I hope you both have been well." Ji Yaoxing replied, "Thank you for the treat, young Master Chang." He then asked, "May I inquire about the purpose of our gathering today?" Gu Chang smiled slightly and said, "There's no need to be so nervous. Brother Yaoxing, I've invited both of you to discuss your plans for rescuing your prime ancestor." Ji Chuiwe, standing to the side, pondered, "But you keep wiping out entire clans at the drop of a hat. Who wouldn't be on edge?" Ji Yaoxing began to flatter Gu Chang, saying, "The benevolence and virtuousness of young Master Chang will forever be remembered by the Ji family." He continued, "Your assistance in rescuing our prime ancestor is greatly appreciated. After consulting with a few of our ancestors, we've decided to commence our operation in 3 days." He added, "Our forces will convene at the base of Kanchin, where we will utilize an artifact to open a path first." Ji Yaoxing was completely transparent, revealing all the details of their family's plan without holding anything back. Gu Chang, resting a hand on his chin in thought, said, "Actually, I'm aware of the dangers in Kunwa Mountain. If we rush and so recklessly, I think the chances of rescuing Elder Ji Shunchu aren't very high." He then added, "However, there is someone who could be of great assistance to us. Do you remember the guy we met on Purple Mountains? He possesses the legacy of a divine source master and has an innate ability to navigate through perilous situations." Gu Chang looked at both of them slightly and said, "I think his name is Jiangcheng. If we can locate him, he could prove to be a valuable asset in our upcoming operation." Both Ji Chuiwe and Ji Yaoxing were stunned as cold sweat ran down their backs. Ji Yaoxing forced a smile and asked, "Young Master Chang, this Jiangcheng you speak of, is he the one who charged into the Z Mountains back then?" He then asked hesitantly, "Is he still alive?" Gu Chang looked slightly puzzled and said, "He's still alive indeed. He survived the collapse of the Purple Mountains and later resurfaced in the Godly Illusion Tomb, where he ruthlessly slaughtered numerous sect masters and seized the divinity crystal, causing a catastrophe." Ji Yaoxing looked relieved and said, "I see. If we can locate this person, our chances of rescuing our prime ancestor will be significantly improved." He then asked, "But in this vast sea of people, where exactly can we find him?" Gu Chang offered a hint, saying, "If you have no leads, you might try looking into recently surfaced divine source masters for clues." He then turned to Ji Chuiwe and asked, "Hey, Miss Chuiwe, you don't look well. Are you feeling unwell?" Ji Chuiwe was caught off guard, sweating profusely. Ji Yaoxing quickly smiled and said, "Ah yes. Chuiwe may have overexerted herself in cultivation a few days ago, so she's feeling a bit under the weather." He added, "If there's nothing else, shall we take our leave to handle our affairs?" Gu Chang smiled back at them and said, "As long as you both understand my intentions, that's enough. This time, whether your ancestor can be rescued or not may very well depend on that divine source master." Gu Chang then pondered silently. "It's high time I reveal the existence of the demonic seed I planted in Jiangcheng." We then see Ji Chuiwe and Ji Yaoxing walking silently through an alleyway. Ji Chuiwe then asked, "Brother, are you really going to expose Jiangcheng's identity? I don't know if I can go through with it." Ji Yaoxing replied, "Do you have a better idea?" "There's no room for further discussion." He added firmly, "We have to give up everything for the sake of rescuing our prime ancestor, let alone this friend of yours." He sighed and turned to look at his junior sister. "Besides," he continued, "do you really think Gu Chang brought up this topic on a whim? He may already know something, all for the sake of our family." Ji Chuiwe's face grew even more downcast. Ji Yaoxing pressed on, "What you should do now is follow in the footsteps of Ji Qingxian." Ji Chuiwe's eyes widened, and sweat beaded down her face. She turned to Yaoxing and shouted, "Brother, are you suggesting I try to gain favor with Gu Chang?" She added bitterly, "Besides, he already has a marriage alliance. You saw it too, his feelings for you Mingkong. Do you want me to end up like Ji Qingxian? Just another concubine he doesn't even care about." Yaoxing kept walking forward and said coldly, "This isn't my idea, it's father's." He sighed, "Alas, it's not within our power to make decisions about marriage. We have no say in the matter." Then he added, "I know you hold some affection for Jiangcheng, but he's a poor man with no wealth or influence. Worse yet, he's managed to offend Gu Chang." Ji Chuiwe began to cry silently, tears falling from her eyes. Ji Yaoxing then turned slightly and said, For now, you don't need to worry. He doesn't seem to care about you. As those words struck her, Gu Changge began to cry loudly. So, should I be happy or sad? She asked in anguish. The scene then shifts to an inner courtyard, where Gu Changge, Niu Tian, Lady Shi, and the little war immortal are all sitting together, sharing a meal. Gu Changge let out a soft sigh and leaned back slightly, gazing at the peaceful courtyard. This is truly the life a cultivator should live, he murmured. What kind of days have I been dragging myself through until now? Niu Tian chuckled and said, Brother Jiang, come on. With your status as a divine source master, living like this should be effortless. You could have it all in the blink of an eye. He leaned in, lowering his voice slightly. Still thinking about Xiaoruoyin, aren't you? Brother, she's not worth it. There are plenty of women out there. Why are you still clinging to her? Gu Changge shook his head slowly. You don't understand, Niu Tian. It's only now I realize why she left me without hesitation. He took a slow sip of his tea, the steam curling around his fingers. By being with Gu Changge, she gets a life 1,000 times more luxurious than anything I could give her. Wealth, power, status. Who in their right mind would give that up? He smiled bitterly. Looking back now, I was a fool, completely blind. As he spoke, a vivid memory flashed in his mind, holding her waist with familiarity. Lady Shi and the little war immortal exchanged quiet glances, but said nothing. Just then, a strange energy pulse stirred in the air. A green glow spread rapidly across the courtyard's boundary, enclosing the entire area in a shimmering dome. The little war immortal's eyes sharpened. An isolation formation. This is bad, he yelled. There's an assassin. In an instant, a deadly figure emerged from the shadows, striking directly at the little war immortal with surgical precision. Lady, she shouted a warning. Is it aiming for you? The strike landed hard, erupting in a violent blast that shattered the stone floor and sent debris flying. Smoke and dust billowed out, cloaking the battlefield. A female assassin, face veiled, floating midair, stepped forward and pointed her hand toward the target. Eliminate the target, she commanded. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you won't miss the next update. See you next time.